You know, a lot of people go through really tough, traumatic events. But for some, that experience, it just doesn't fade. It sticks around, creating this loop of distress that can feel absolutely impossible to break free from. So today, we're going to dive into why that happens, why people get stuck, and more importantly, we'll look at the path to getting unstuck. It all really boils down to one big question.
This is the central mystery, isn't it? Most people, over time, they recover naturally. But some people get caught, and they end up reliving that stress and pain long after the danger is gone. So what's the deal? What is it that keeps them there? What's the real difference between a bad memory that fades and one that completely takes over your life?
Okay, so to figure out why people get stuck, we first have to really understand what being stuck actually looks and feels like. Turns out, post-traumatic stress generally shows up in 4 very distinct ways, or what we can call symptom clusters.
Think of these as the 4 pillars that hold up the experience. First, you've got intrusive memories, where the event just replays itself over and over without your permission. Then there's arousal and reactivity, that feeling of being on high alert all the time. That, in turn, leads to some really big changes in your mood and thinking. And last but definitely not least is avoidance, this powerful, overwhelming urge to just stay away from anything that reminds you of the trauma. Let's break each one of these down a little bit.
All right, so first up, intrusive memories. This is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's the memory of the event just barging into your brain when you don't want it to. It could be a sudden image that pops into your head, a vivid flashback where it feels like you're right back there, or even recurring nightmares that just wreck your sleep.
Next up is arousal and reactivity. The best way to picture this is to imagine your body's alarm system is just broken. It's stuck in the on position. This is what makes people feel constantly keyed up or on edge. It can make you irritable, super jumpy, and make it almost impossible to concentrate because a part of your brain is always braced for danger.
And the third cluster, this one is huge. It's all about these major shifts in how you think and feel. After a trauma, it is so common to be flooded with these persistent negative emotions, like guilt or shame or just intense anger. It can actually change the lens through which you see the entire world, making everything seem way more dangerous and negative than it did before.
So, we've got those 3 symptom clusters. But wait, what about the 4th one? Well, here's the twist. It turns out that last one, avoidance, it's not just another symptom on the list. It's the key. It's actually the engine that keeps the entire painful cycle running. Let's explore how that works, because this is where it gets really interesting.
And this brings us to the core paradox of PTSD. I mean, avoiding something painful seems logical, right? If thinking about something hurts, the natural instinct is, well, don't think about it. But in a wild twist with trauma, that very instinct to protect yourself is the main reason the symptoms refuse to go away.
This visual really says it all. Think of it like a fork in the road. Right after a trauma, your stress levels are naturally sky high. Now, if you take the path of processing the experience, your brain gradually learns that the danger is over and that stress level starts to come back down. But if you take that other path, the path of avoidance, you never give your brain the chance to get that new information. The stress stays high, and that right there is how you get stuck.
So, if avoidance is the actual problem, why is it so powerful? Why does it feel so absolutely essential to someone who's suffering? Well, the answer goes deep. It's all about how a traumatic event can shatter our most basic, fundamental beliefs about how the world works. See, many of us grow up with this built-in idea called the just world belief. You know, the idea that the world is fair and predictable, but then a random, awful, traumatic event happens and it completely violates that rule. It's this profound shock to our system, and our brain just scrambles to try and make sense of something that feels completely senseless.
And in that scramble to find an explanation, our minds can create what are called stuck points. And this is so crucial to understand. Stuck points are not facts. They are interpretations. They are often inaccurate, unhelpful stories we tell ourselves to explain the unexplainable. Stories like, "It was all my fault," or "The world is just a completely dangerous place now."
Check out this real-world example. You have 2 teenagers, James and Mark, in the exact same car accident. James develops a stuck point, "I'm a dangerous driver." That thought leads him to avoid driving completely, and his PTSD just keeps going. Mark, on the other hand, is encouraged to see himself as capable of driving safely again. So he carefully gets back behind the wheel, proves that old belief wrong, and he recovers. Same event, totally different thoughts, and completely different outcome.
Those stuck points, they create a whole different class of emotions. You have natural emotions like fear, anger, sadness. They're a direct result of what happened, and they tend to fade over time. But then you have manufactured emotions like guilt and shame. These aren't created by the event itself, they're created by our thoughts, our stuck points, about the event.
I think this fire analogy is just perfect. The natural emotions, they're like a fire that will eventually burn itself out. But your stuck points, those beliefs that it was your fault or that you're broken now, those are the logs. And every single time you think them, you are throwing another log on the fire of your own distress, creating those manufactured emotions and keeping that pain burning hot long after the event is over.
So let's recap. We've got stuck point fueling these painful manufactured emotions, which then drives the need for avoidance, and it's the avoidance that keeps the whole cycle of PTSD going. So how on earth do you break that cycle? Well, the very first step is to identify what those specific stuck points actually are.
And it's so critical to get this. Recovery from PTSD is not about getting amnesia. The memory is always going to be part of your history. The real goal is to take away its power over you. It's about processing your thoughts about it until it's just another memory, not the one that's in the driver's seat of your life.
A really powerful tool for doing this is something called the impact statement. Now, this is not about writing down all the graphic details of what happened. Not at all. Instead, it's about exploring your interpretation of it. It's a tool specifically designed to help you uncover those hidden stuck points. By prompting you with questions just like these, the exercise helps you basically uncover the hidden architecture of your own stuck points. You can finally start to see the difference between what actually happened and the story you've been telling yourself about what it all means. And seeing that distinction, that is the crucial first step to dismantling them.
And that right there really is the heart of it all. Getting unstuck from trauma isn't a battle against the memory itself. It's really a process of investigation, of understanding the beliefs and the thoughts that are keeping you tethered to the past so that you can finally begin to move forward.